And he goes, "You've got 31 listings and only 3 pendings right now? So what the f, dude?" Like, what do you mean? So today I wanted to share some insight on getting listings at the right price and or price reductions. Have I know one good story to tell you that will help you as you're getting listings now, or trying to get listings, or thinking about getting listings, let's just say. So, and by the end of the video, I hope you get a good takeaway from this, and at least get one thing that you can do to not only take listings better or get better price reductions, but make a sale from this, okay? And make some money and help your clients. So when I was in coaching I was paying for coaching. This was back in 1998. I'm really aging myself right now. Um, I was paying $2,000 a month, mind you. And I mean, I hear people today say, you know, they're complaining that they're paying, $500 or $600 a month. What that did for me, let me just say, is that when I was paying that amount of money, I'm not saying that you guys have to do anything like that, but I'm just saying I had skin in the game, meaning uh, I was broke back then. I didn't have any freaking money. I remember I was like $60,000 in debt. And I committed to paying $2,000 a month to my coach because I heard this guy was the best of the best. And believe me, he was. So that made me go out and do the work. I mean, I was working freaking 7 days a week. I mean, I was, you know, anyway, 7 days a week, I was busting my ass every single day in this business so I could pay that $2,000 a month for my coaching. But not only that, but I had to rent and my car and car insurance. I mean, the whole thing, right? You guys know, you're doing it too right now. So the story goes is that Tim, he was my coach, and at the time, I mean, this guy was good, but I really didn't like him. You're not supposed to like your coach, but I didn't like him because he told the truth. He just always always told him, I said, "Okay, I'm ready to go in the ring. No gloves, gloves off." I mean, he would freaking punch me in the face every time and just really, you know, let me have it. And before each coaching call, let me show you where I'm at. It's pretty out here. Before each coaching call, I would have to fax in, yes, fax. I'd have to fax in my numbers of what I did for the previous week. And the numbers were how many days did I work? How many calls did I make? How many hours did I prospect? Um, how many how many listings I took? How many pendings? So on and so forth. So, and this is really important. And I would really encourage you guys to do this if you don't already. But if you don't know your numbers, you don't know where you're going and how much money you can actually make in this business. So I would have to fax in my numbers before the call, and believe me, if I didn't fax in my numbers, I'd have no call. And that's what he would tell me. Well, he only told me once, but I knew that. So this particular day, I faxed in my numbers, and on the call, he's real gruff. "Yeah, hey, what's going on?" And I told, or he looked at my numbers, and he goes, "You've got 31 listings and only 3 pendings right now? So what the fuck, dude?" Like, what do you mean? I'm thinking, ooh, I'm great. I got all these listings, and you know, I thought he'd be real happy, but that wasn't the case. he started just going off on me about what a disservice it was to those sellers, because it was very stressful of me listening to these phone calls from my sellers. What the heck's going on? Why aren't you selling my house? And what are you doing to sell my house? I want to open house, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was very, very, very stressful. I remember I did not like the business then, but I was proud of myself. I had 31 listings. So, he went on and just up and down about, what a disservice, which it really was. I didn't know any better, but I'm so glad he pointed that out. What a disservice it was to my sellers and my clients, just because I wanted to, be a listing king and just, take a bunch of listings and only have 3 pendings, by the way. So anyway, the call went on and he says, okay, by next call, what was I think he said like 15 or 16. I want 15, let's just say 15. I want 15 price reductions by our next call. I'm like, okay. I had no idea how I was going to do that. I didn't think it was possible. But so I hung up the phone, and the next, no, wait, before I hung up the phone, I said, how am I going to do that? Help me out. He goes, you know what to do. You're in coaching. I've told you these things before. And he hung up on me. I'm like, God, this guy is just an ass. And I figured it out. I figured out that I had to role play. I had to role play every single morning my price reduction script with other agents, which I did. And then not only that, but I had to role play the listing presentation, because that's really where it starts. It's right. It's taking the listings at the right price. So every morning before I started my prospecting, I would role play with a partner the listing presentation and the price reduction scripts. On the next coaching call, I was supposed to have like 15 price reductions, I think 15 or 16. And I got them. I know I got over. It was like 16 or 17. And the way that I got them was, thank God, through role playing and learning how to get price reductions. And then I had like, I think 2 pendings. But believe me, remember, the 80-20 rule, 20%, 80% isn't going to do anything, 20% will. The 20%, 80% were just really small price reductions, right? But 20% were huge. These were sellers that were motivated. And then those were the ones that I did get pendings on. So I had like 5 or 6 pendings, and then, these still 31 listing, or, well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I still had listings, but a lot of them went pending. Moral of the story here is that taking listings has to be done at the very first when you get the price reductions and get it priced correctly. What I'm trying to say here is that when you and me, we go out on these listing presentations, or you do them by Zoom, I would highly recommend that. It's all about the price. It's 90% of your presentation is about the price. It's not about you. Your sellers don't care who you are, is all they care about is, can you sell the property and how much am I going to get? That's all they care about. And how long is it going to take? I tell all my sellers, I say different things like, hey, think of me as your guide down a trail. I've been down this trail 1,000 times. I know the cliffs coming up. I know the rocks ahead. I know when we should stop for a break. I've been doing this for a long time, and I know I can help you here. That's one of the things I say. The biggest thing that I say about pricing their home is, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I want a minimum of 5 to 7 showings in here per week. And if we're not getting that, that means there's a pricing issue. And the market is telling you I say you, I don't say me. The market is telling you that you're overpriced. Never put the blame on you, put it on them, because they are the ones that are making the decision. Your first week, Mr. and Miss Seller, you're going to get a lot of activity just because, it's hot on the market and agents want to compare your home to other homes to see which one they should buy, yada, yada, yada. That's going to happen. But after the second week, if it's crickets or you only have one showing, something like that, you've got a pricing issue. Like I said, I want a minimum of 5 to 7 showings per week. And if we're getting that, that means an offer's coming in soon. So I tell all of my sellers this, and every week when I call them on Fridays, I tell them, hey, we've had so many showings, blah, blah, blah. Or I'll prove to them, I'll show them, who's shown it and stuff. And if we're not getting that activity, the proof is right there for them. And it's always about the price. It isn't me calling them up with excuses like I used to do back in '98 and say, well, it's the market. It's it's 110 degrees out today, and it's showings aren't very well. It's Memorial Day. There's always excuses agents use why their listings aren't selling, right? I'm one of them. I used to be one of them, but not anymore. You got to tell the truth. You got to tell, and if people don't want to hear the truth, that's fine. They'll respect you though. You know how many listings I've taken because maybe they like me or not. I'm gonna say I don't care. I care, but how many listings I've taken that I told the sellers the truth, and they respect that. This is their biggest asset. This is where most of their money is held. They don't want somebody to lie to them. People see through that all the time, and especially these young kids that, hey, I did 100 deals my first year, and then you never see them again after 2 or 3 years. It's like, guys, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're not going to make a ton of money your first couple years. You might, but this is a marathon. All right. Anyway, so where am I going? I've got a great workbook that you can download for free. It's Mission First Listing, I called it. I wrote it. I think it's okay. You shouldn't say okay. It's great. It's the best. You should download it for free, okay? If you want to become a listing agent, or you already are, you can get some insight from it, learn from it, take more listings, get more price reductions, get more sales. Take care, guys. We'll see ya.